Social media has become the new frontier to express oneself, one's feelings, and a huge source to getting our daily dose of news. It has become a one-stop shop for everything we want and need. Twitter is an example of a social media platform that became a huge sensation overnight, and with such a big platform, it has become an important instrument that shaped the world today. However, like many other social media platforms, it has been riddled with controversies, and now that Elon Musk has taken over, he is already making waves in regards to free speech. Hi, welcome to YouWannaWatch, and in this video, we're going to talk about the history of Twitter. Early Twitter. Twitter began in 2006 as an idea conceived by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. Dorsey had envisioned Twitter as an SMS-based communication platform at first. Using status updates, groups of friends could keep track of what each other was up to. It's like texting, but it's not. Dorsey proposed this SMS-based platform to Odeo co-founder Evan Williams during a brainstorming session at the podcasting company. Evan and his co-founder Biz Stone gave Jack permission to devote more time to the project and further develop it. Twitter was originally referred to as TWTTR. At the time, dropping vowels in the names of their businesses and services was a popular trend, sometimes to gain a domain name advantage. Noah Glass, a software developer, is credited with coming up with the original name TWTTR as well as its final incarnation as Twitter. The first tweet. Jack sent the first message on Twitter on March 21, 2006, 9:50 p.m. It reads, "Just setting up my Twitter." During Twitter's development, team members would frequently rack up hundreds of dollars in SMS charges on their personal phone bills. Odeo was going through a rough patch while the initial concept of Twitter was being tested. Faced with the release of Apple's own podcasting platform, which effectively killed Odeo's business model, the founders decided to buy back their company from the investors. The buyback was facilitated by Jack Dorsey, Biz Stone, Evan Williams, and other Odeo employees. They obtained the rights to the Twitter platform as a result of this. The manner in which this all transpired has sparked some debate. It's debatable whether Odeo's investors were aware of the full scope of the Twitter platform. In addition, key members of the Twitter development team, most notably Noah Glass, were not hired by the new company. Obvious Corporation was formed as a formality following the investor buyback of Odeo in order to house Twitter. Twitter achieves explosive growth. Twitter was on the verge of its most rapid expansion. Twitter usage skyrocketed during the 2007 South by Southwest Interactive Conference. During the event, more than 60,000 tweets were sent per day. The Twitter team was well represented at the event, capitalizing on the conference's and attendees' viral nature. During its early years, Twitter experienced its fair share of growing pains. Twitter's user base grew at an astounding rate, and the service was frequently overcrowded. When the servers became overburdened, an illustration by Yiying Lu appeared on the screen. The illustration depicted a whale being rescued from the water by 8 birds. The Twitter team used this image because they believed it represented an acknowledgement of the problem and that they were working on it. This error page quickly went viral on Twitter, earning it the moniker Fail Whale. 140-character limit or 280-character limit. Twitter imposes a character limit on tweets because the platform was originally designed as an SMS-based platform. Twitter was simply creatively constrained in its early days because mobile carriers impose a 140-character limit with the SMS protocol standard, so it was simply creatively constrained. As Twitter evolved into a web platform, the 140-character limit was retained for branding reasons. However, in 2017, Twitter decided that the 140-character limit was no longer relevant in the smartphone age and increased the tweet limit to 280 characters, despite minor protests. According to the company, most tweets are around 50 characters long. If people needed more characters, they simply sent more tweets. From novelty to news source, Twitter's social networking roots were evident in April 2009 when actor Ashton Kutcher won a race against CNN to become the first Twitterer with more than 1 million followers. While celebrity watching remained a major draw to the service, businesses soon began tweeting about promotions and events, and political campaigns discovered the value of Twitter as a communication tool. Barack Obama dominated his opponent, John McCain, in the social media sphere during the 2008 U.S. presidential election, amassing nearly 4 times as many MySpace friends and more than 20 times as many Twitter followers. This development virtually ensured that future candidates' media strategies would include a social networking presence. The most notable development in Twitter's evolution, however, was its increased use as a tool for journalists. Twitter was transformed into a real-time news source that cut across political lines. Janice Crumbs, a commuter ferry passenger, broke the story of U.S. Airways Flight 1549's successful water landing on the Hudson River in New York City on January February 15, 2009. A hastily taken camera phone image of passengers disembarking the half-submerged plane was uploaded to twitpic.com, a photo hosting service for Twitter users. The site promptly crashed as thousands of Twitter users attempted to view it at the same time. Controversies, Twitter hack. Twitter was attacked on December 17, 2009. Users who attempted to post their pearls of wisdom and obligatory breakfast food observations instead received an ominous greeting. The Iranian cyber army claimed responsibility for the hack, which was later revealed to be a DNS exploit designed to redirect users from twitter.com to a page with the following message: "This site has been hacked by Iranian cyber army. USA think they controlling and managing internet by their access, but they don't. We control and manage internet by our power, so do not try to stimulation Iranian peoples to." Now which country in embargo list? Iran. USA. We push them in embargo list. Take care. The hijack, which involved a careful sabotage of the server that links the Twitter domain name to an IP address, changed Twitter's DNS records to an IP address that led to the Iranian cyber army message page. Relations between the United States and the Iranian government had been strained digitally since the country's last election 6 months prior, in which Twitter played an important role, leading the media to believe the group was actually affiliated with the Iranian protesters. In order to aid the uprising, the Obama administration persuaded Twitter to postpone censoring the message until it was discovered to be a forgery. Controversies, the Hitler tweet. Twitter is many things, but it is not a place for nuance. If you're going to call Adolf Hitler a strong leader, you should do so with more qualifiers than 140 characters allow. Nonetheless, Wisconsin Republican State Senate candidate Dane Deutsch tweeted in 2010, "Hitler and Lincoln were both strong leaders, but Lincoln's character made him the greater leader whose legacy and leadership still lives on." When Time named Hitler Man of the Year in 1938, it was an acknowledgement of his malevolent power. He was a strong leader, yes, but a leader of a demagogic, ignorant, desperate movement. Deutsch apparently meant this, but Wisconsin's Senate Democratic Committee pounced on the words months later, and the ill-advised tweeter lost the election to the Democratic incumbent. Controversies, hostility on Twitter. On Twitter, hostility is disproportionately directed at women, people of color, and marginalized groups. For example, following the release of the film Ghostbusters in 2016, U.S. comedian Leslie Jones was bombarded with racist tweets. Black and Indigenous athletes, including Adam Goods, Glenn Kamara, and Lewis Hamilton, have also faced racist abuse on Twitter and have urged the platform to do more to address the situation. Racist tweets about Black English footballers have recently proliferated following the national team's loss to Italy in the UEFA European Football Championship. Amnesty International released a report in 2018 detailing the extent of abuse directed at female Twitter users, describing Twitter as a toxic place for women. According to the report, Twitter fails to respect women's rights and respond to reports of violence in a transparent manner. We are nearing the end of our video, but before we proceed, we would like to ask you to please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/c/YouWannaWatch2022 and follow us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/YouWannaWatch. Any support you provide us will help us provide you with more and better content. Okay, now back to the story. Parag Agrawal. Prior to joining Twitter as a software engineer in 2011, Parag worked as a research intern at Microsoft Research and Yahoo Research. Following the retirement of Adam Massinger, Twitter announced the appointment of Agrawal as Chief Technology Officer in October 2017. In December, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey revealed that Agrawal would lead Project Blue Sky, a project to create a decentralized social network system. Dorsey announced his resignation as CEO of Twitter in November 2021, and Agrawal was named his immediate successor. However, with Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, Parag Agrawal's position as CEO of the site is in limbo. According to reports, Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal would be paid $42 million within a year of Elon Musk's takeover. Elon Musk buys Twitter. Billionaire Elon Musk strikes a deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion. On April 4th, Musk's stake in Twitter became public. 10 days later, he announced his offer to buy Twitter in a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. On April 25th, the board of Twitter agreed to the offer of the world's richest man. 3 days before Elon Musk agreed to buy Twitter, the world's richest man tweeted a photo of Bill Gates and made fun of his belly with a crude sexual term. Musk's previous tweets, which were often playful, aggressive, and juvenile, demonstrate how the world's richest man has used social media to craft his public image as a brash billionaire unafraid to offend. They may also reveal information about Musk's plans for the platform he hopes to own. Look at the feed, it's all over the place. It's erratic. At times it's pretty extreme, said Jennifer Greigall, a Syracuse University professor who studies social media and who recently assigned Musk's tweets as reading material for their students. It paints him as some sort of rebel leader who will take control of the public square to save it. That is a myth he has constructed. Musk joined Twitter in 2010 and now has more than 85 million followers, which is the 7th most of any account and the most of any business leader. He had considered purchasing the site before agreeing to pay $44 billion for Twitter, which he hopes to turn into a free speech haven. I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter, because that is what free speech means, Musk wrote in a tweet. Musk uses his Twitter account as the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX to make business announcements and promote his companies. He ponders technology and trade, but he's also made jokes about women's breasts and compared Canada's Prime Minister to Hitler. He frequently comments on global events, such as when he tweeted in March 2020, "The coronavirus panic is dumb." He's also used the account to lash out at critics, such as when he referred to a diver working to rescue boys trapped in a cave in Thailand as a pedo, short for pedophile, after the diver had previously criticized Musk's proposal to use a sub to rescue the boys. Musk, who won the diver's defamation suit, later said he never intended pedo to be interpreted as pedophile. After software engineer Cher Scarlett criticized Musk's handling of the cave incident a few years ago, the tech billionaire retaliated, and she was soon harassed by dozens of Musk's online fans. He later deleted the posts, but not before Scarlett had to lock down her account due to the volume of hateful messages she was receiving. 19-year-old Jack Sweeney drew Musk's attention when he set up an automated Twitter account that tracked Musk's jet's movements. Musk retaliated by offering Sweeney $5,000 to withdraw the account. Musk blocked Sweeney on Twitter after he refused. Sweeney is concerned that if Musk's takeover is approved, he will be kicked off the site entirely. He does, however, support Musk's free speech absolutism and hopes he sees it through. "I'll make it more open, and I think that's a good thing," Sweeney said. What do you think about the history of Twitter? Are you a Twitter user? Are you excited about Elon Musk's takeover? Did we miss anything or anyone that you think should have been included? Let us know your thoughts by writing a comment on this video. If you're interested in our other videos, just hover over the videos and just press play. Until next time, watchers, thank you for watching our video.